Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Can a young man find love in the Philippines? When I joined Christian Filipina in 2015 and began to look at many profiles of women in my age preference, I realized that a majority of them wanted an older man, an older foreigner. Many of them had an age bracket that started about 5 years above theirs and went up to as much as 80 years old, and I believe they were sincere about that. Now, I never wondered what a younger guy would think, because I assumed most of the men were older that were looking for a Filipina. However, I have come across some men in their 20s that have shown an interest in a Filipina, so it got me to thinking about making a video about how I would go about this. So I thought of three main things. The first one, an older gentleman is usually preferred based on the assumption that he is more financially stable than a younger man, and that may not necessarily be the case. However, because many Filipinas are becoming aware that not all older foreign men are in the financial shape that they assume that they were. Many older guys live on a fixed income, and their first and main priority is to take care of themselves. And sometimes that can make it impossible to take care of a Filipina too, especially if she wants to have a baby with them, and a lot of them do. If he has retired from work, depending on his financial situation, this may or may not work. One problem or obstacle is that younger men don't tend to look for Filipinas anyway, as it's seen as a last resort maybe, or an act of desperation to seek a wife from so far away. A younger man probably still thinks he can find somebody in his own country like America, but I wonder at what point he needs to throw in the towel and start looking somewhere else. I've waited maybe way too long, but I'm really happy that I found my wife. In fact, I intend to make a video about, a young man making a Filipina his first choice, not a last resort. But here's what I would consider if I were in my late 20s to early 30s. I would say that I would have an advantage, and this is what I would talk about, because I have more years, many more years, of earning capacity and potential than an older man does. I wouldn't have to compare myself to an older man. I would just say, look, I've got a decent job, or here's my education, my degree, this is what I'm going to be doing, and I can be working for another 30 years or so, potentially making more each year. And start saving, and quite frankly, that should be very appealing to a younger Filipina. Number two, another factor is an older husband is seen as more likely to be faithful based on his experience in life, and the thought that he would never find somebody better than a Filipina, and he might not. However, young man can be faithful, and you're just going to have to do the best that you can to convince a Filipina online that you are a one-woman man. You are a one-woman man. You just have to talk to her about that. Younger guys tend to not be as aggressive to commit as an older one, so it might be harder for a younger man to convince a woman that he's serious, and he'll just have to do the best you can. Tell her what marriage to you is going to look like. This is your idea of what your marriage will be like. This is what God says you should do, and you want to do that. You want to provide for her. This is your situation now, and I don't know why a younger person would not have a chance. Another advantage, and I think this is a real big one, is that once in a while my wife will say that she wishes I was younger. As we've grown closer together, she realizes that she has a good thing, but she also realizes that there's only so much time we can have together. She wants me to live to be 100. I'm not sure I want to live to be 100, but anyway, she realizes we have a good thing and wishes I was about 20 years younger. Well, if you are someone that's younger, you can play this up with the younger Filipina and say, look, we can be together longer, and I would do that. So I can't speak for all Filipinas, and fair or not, a foreigner is more likely to provide more. And there are benefits in living in a first world country, and she realizes that, and a younger guy can provide that to her. I believe most Filipinas would choose an older foreigner over a younger Filipino man for the reasons I stated. However, I also believe a Filipino would choose a younger foreign man over a younger Filipino man, or even an older foreigner, if they believed he would be able to provide for her and be faithful. So a young man certainly should not give up. In fact, by the time you see this video, a 38-year-old man that I work with at the same company is getting married to a woman he met on Christian Filipina not very long ago. And it just doesn't take very long if you're serious about finding somebody there. The hard part is there's so many choices, but they're getting married, and I'm very, very happy for him. So a younger man does have a chance if he's going to talk about these benefits, that he can still provide for her, he's going to be faithful to her, and he's younger, they're going to have more years together. So it's true that a young man can find love beyond the sea.